How's it going, everybody? This is Terry again from Collabo Creative, a service design company here in Indianapolis. And today we're going to talk about what the heck is design thinking and why are you talking about it when you're a service design company, right? That's probably the question you have, because I know that's the question I'm thinking. Why are we talking about design thinking when we're a service design company? Well, so our shtick as Collabo Creative is that our approach to service design or designing a service and designing an experience is that it needs to be collaborative and creative. Collabo Creative. So when we think about collaboration, we want to think that whenever you're designing a service, you're designing an experience, you're connecting with the people who are experiencing it. So your customers, your users. You're also connecting to the team that has to deliver that service. You're connecting with any stakeholders that are involved. And you're bringing all those people together so that you can create the most appropriate kind of experience or processes and systems in place so that everyone is happy, right? And so that's the collaborative side. And we'll talk more about that in other videos to come because we're all about collaboration. But this video, we want to talk about design thinking. And that's where we connect to the creative side of service design. Because when you're thinking about the kinds of experiences you want to create, it takes some creativity, right? So this is where design thinking comes in. Because really, when you think about design thinking, or when we talk about design thinking, it's simply a process for creative action. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing more to it. Process for creative action. And that process is really driven by action and reflection. Yes, we can get into all the theory behind it, but we wouldn't be able to do that in 5 minutes. So for the sake of a 5-minute video, design thinking is a process that's driven by action and reflection. And then action again, and reflection again, and action again, reflection again, action again, reflection again. You get the picture. It's this cyclical or iterative process of doing something, reflecting on it, and then doing something new. That's all design thinking is. So think back to a time where you've used design thinking, because if you really think about it, it's just a learning model for solving problems through action. And every action is a form of creation. So everyone has done this. I promise you have been using design thinking all your life. So think of a time where you've solved a problem by doing something over and over and over. It might have felt repetitive, it might have felt like a waste of time, but you actually solved a problem. Can you think of one of those times? I'll let you think of it. Get in your head. Got it in your head? Well, one thing that we could think of that reminded us of this process was making paper airplanes. Awesome. So with paper airplanes, you might start off with something simple like this, right? You fold the flaps down, you fold it in half, and you make some wings, and then you toss it. It doesn't fly so well. And then you see somebody else and they fold something even better. It's narrower, more aerodynamic. It's got some nice V. It looks almost more like a jet rather than my old-fashioned hand glider. And this one, when you throw it, goes a lot farther. And through that refolding, you learn to make airplanes that go a little bit farther every single time you create a new version. And that's all design thinking is. Fun, right? So how does this relate back to your business, right? A service, an organization, a company. Well, let's think you were going to launch a product. Let's say you had a new product going on that you wanted to bring to market. Traditionally, a lot of times you do a lot of that planning. You do the market research, you figure everything out, you plan, get everything ready, make sure your product is pristine and perfect as possible. And then you launch and you cross your fingers and pray, right? So that's one process. What if you could actually come up with an initial product, which a lot of times we call an MVP or a minimum viable product, which is the lowest kind of common denominator of what we could put on the market and see whether or not it's marketable. So if you could do that and put something really quickly out to market, learn something from selling it and actually launching, and then gather that feedback and reflect and make changes and then relaunch and again relaunch. And as you're doing this, you're gathering feedback. You're able to move faster to get to a product that you know is going to be extremely successful because you've gathered all this feedback in this iterative cycle to make sure that your product or your new service is going to sell. It'll get you there faster if you're iterative, and it's going to get you much more valuable information. So that's how you might think about bringing design thinking into your organization, your business, or your service, and how it can help you to think about creating those more valuable, more meaningful experiences and services. That's all I got for you for this week on our Collabo clip. If you loved this video or if you liked it, give us some thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. We will see you next week. Bye.
Do you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle? Shoot over an email to hello@collabocreative.com.